Well, 7 p.m. is your time on this Sunday evening. You're watching Newsnight. I'm Faith Mangope with sign language interpreter Tabiseng Ndlovu. These are your headlines at this hour. The family of photojournalist Shiraz Mohammed has received the first video of him since his abduction in Syria more than 2 years ago. Making ends meet is about to get even harder for South Africans as yet another fuel price increase will eat into their budget. Well, the Gift of the Givers says it's obvious Shiraz Mohammed was kidnapped for ransom. The organization has received proof that the photojournalist is alive more than 2 years after being abducted in Darkush in Syria. The organization has been working to secure his release.
This process has been going on for 2 years and 3 months. We've been following several leads throughout the country, inside Syria and outside Syria. But on the 12th of April, this month, we had a big breakthrough. Someone we didn't know, someone we had no communication with, suddenly sent us a message, and that message had very vital information. And that person was sort of a guarantor that Shiraz was alive. He then led us to a few other people in the chain, and eventually on Friday, the 26th of April at 10 p.m., the video came through on WhatsApp to Anas Al-Hamati, my Yemen representative, who you know was involved with the Yolandi Koki case. Because he speaks Arabic, he spoke to those people, and eventually this video came through. Fortunately, Shiraz speaks English, and of course we got it in English. But the excuse that have been used from the information we've been getting, people create the impression that Shiraz is a foreign spy for a foreign government. And the messages we sent back to different people that we spoke to, that if you have proof that he's a spy for a foreign government, then take him to your courts, because you have your own kind of courts as captors. You have your own kind of justice system. Then charge him with that. And they haven't been able to do that. So us, it's quite obvious. The only reason why they're holding him and holding for so long is to try to get money. That's the main aim of most groups that take people hostage. It's for money. It's in few cases, it's slightly different, where they use those that they capture for negotiation for the exchange of prisoners. And that's more a political issue between governments and groups that are fighting each other. In those kind of cases, like in West Africa and Mali, captors are taken, and in exchange, their friends are released from prison by the government. That's the only time it's different. But in most cases, 99% of cases, it's for money.
Well, life is about to get even harder for South African motorists and consumers as fuel prices go up yet again on Wednesday. The Energy Department has confirmed that petrol will increase by 54 cents a litre. Diesel will go up by 1 cent a litre and illuminated paraffin will climb by 3 cents a litre. The department says international factors account for the increase, with April having proved a frustrating month for the rand. This is the fourth fuel hike this year. More beds, more staff and better facilities. Gauteng Health MEC Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa has detailed key projects for the next year, including appointments and the purchase of equipment. She spoke briefly about the progress in solving cases of misconduct and corruption in the department, including those linked to the Life Esidimeni tragedy. Tseho Acho Moagi has got that story.
We'll be opening the Helen Joseph psychiatric ward during this coming week. And Charlotte Matleke psychiatric ward will be opening in the next 8 weeks.
Some good news for mentally ill patients and their families. The Gauteng Health Department has announced its mental health recovery plan. This follows the deaths of more than 140 psychiatric patients in the Life Esidimeni relocation catastrophe. The recovery plan includes more beds at psychiatric facilities.
Mental health facilities, and we have 3 in the province, which is Weskopis, Tara and Sterkfontein. We have commissioned the opening of additional beds, especially in Sterkfontein. There were wards that were decommissioned. We are commissioning them, and to also assist with long-term patient care in mental health.
Although no one has been criminally charged for the Life Esidimeni tragedy, the department has scrapped the idea of one mental review board for the province. Ramokgopa also made promises for the future, stating that the department would fill 2,000 posts this financial year. Tseho Moagi, Johannesburg.
While the Western Cape government is declaring a formal dispute with Police Minister Bheki Cele, Community Safety MEC Alan Vindi is fighting for the province to take control of its own policing. He accuses national government of giving the Western Cape fewer resources with which to combat crime. ENCA's Stefan Goosen has got that story.
Alan Vindi today drew a proverbial line in the sand and gave Police Minister Bheki Cele 30 days to formally respond to the declaration of a dispute. Failing that, the matter will be heard in court. He says Cele has failed since October to respond to urgent requests for increased police resources in the province. Vindi says an increase in gang violence and murder, as well as the need to keep schools, public transport and state infrastructure safe, requires additional personnel.
We have, for every 375 people on average in South Africa, we have one police officer. But in this province, for every one police officer, we have 509 people. And of course, that's the average in the province. We have hotspots in our province that goes way up to one police officer to nearly 700, 800 and 900 people.
Statistics show that between November and March, 1,567 murders were committed in the province. At the same time, the Western Cape Police Ombudsman has found a decrease of 326 police reservists in the last financial year.
Crime is the responsibility of the national government. Crime is the responsibility of the ANC in this country, and it is run out of Pretoria, and that is why we are putting the pressure on by declaring this dispute. We need to make sure that the people of the Western Cape are kept safe.
Cele's office says it notes the Western Cape government's declaration and will respond in due course. Vindi is also the DA candidate for provincial premier. He's previously called for control of provincial rail transport and energy production. But he says the DA is not seeking an autonomous government in the Western Cape, merely control of its police force. Stefan Goosen, Cape Town.
Now, with elections just over a week away, political parties are making a final push to woo voters. This weekend, they crisscross the country. We've got the African National Congress, which sent its big guns to various provinces. ANC Deputy President David Mabuza took the campaign to church in Soweto. He joined worshippers of St. Paul's Anglican Church for a service. Mabuza then went on a walkabout to urge various communities to vote for his party. EFF leader Julius Malema was in his home province of Limpopo. He addressed a packed Matlwereng Stadium in Mokopane. Malema appealed to EFF supporters not to exchange their votes for free T-shirts. He says his party will restore their dignity and that mines must benefit the people. Mangosuthu Buthelezi took the IFP's campaign to KwaMashu. He spoke about issues frustrating many people in the country, such as a lack of service delivery as well as unemployment. Now, he says the IFP manifesto contains solutions to many problems. The party launched its Sizonqoba campaign and unveiled its branded elections bus. Meanwhile, UDM leader Bantu Holomisa addressed communities in the Eastern Cape. The acting Abatembu King is pleading with his subjects to be patient as Zenati Dalindyebo met with President Cyril Ramaphosa this afternoon to discuss whether his jailed father will be pardoned.
The meeting went well with my president here, as he has told you that the processes are being dealt with thoroughly. We have to respect the constitution as much as possible. The only thing that I would say now to the Tembu nation is patience. We should be patient. The king will make his way home. Patience.
We're dealing with the matter of the release of the king, and he understands very, very well the processes that we are going through. I've received a recommendation from the minister, and I'm applying my mind to it, and will be doing so very carefully, very thoroughly, because it is a serious matter that we need as government to apply our minds to. And fortunately, he has full understanding and has left the matter in our hands.
When are you anticipating to take and communicate that decision, even though you are applying your mind now?
The matter is under consideration. It is being discussed. is being considered, and I'm applying my mind to it. Thank you very much.
How do you react to the pressure that has been put on you by some monarchs in the Eastern Cape and the Land Party? They've given you an ultimatum that you need to release His Majesty before the elections.
Well, I'm aware of a number of people who are making pronouncements, who are even putting deadlines, and that's not how we work. We should never work on the basis of ultimatums and deadlines. We need to give matters serious consideration. Everybody should be satisfied with the fact that this matter has been tabled on my desk by the minister. It is being addressed, and it will be addressed properly, because we are not a reckless government. We are not a government that does things outside the parameters of the law. We will act in accordance with the law, because that's how we are. We are a constitutional state, and we must act in terms of all the laws that govern all these matters, and with due consideration to, obviously, the compassion that we need to have, because we are a compassionate government as well. So all those factors need to be taken into account before we take any decision.
Well, still to come on Newsnight, the Pope prays for flood victims in South Africa, and Mozambicans are dealing with the torrential rain in the wake of Cyclone Kenneth. Welcome back. Now, the victims of a church collapse and Easter weekend accidents in KwaZulu-Natal have been laid to rest. Government has held mass funerals in various parts of the province. 13 worshippers died when a wall of their church collapsed in Empangeni on the eve of Good Friday. Many others were killed on the roads during the Easter weekend. Tears and emotions punctuated the funerals as scores of mourners thronged to pay their last respects. Provincial Cocta MEC Nomusa Dube-Ncube described the church victims as true soldiers of faith who died with their boots on while serving God. Pope Francis has prayed for flood victims in South Africa. Heavy downpours battered KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape, killing dozens of people. Now, the storm destroyed infrastructure and houses, leaving many homeless. The pontiff called for concrete support from the global community.
E preghiamo anche per quanti hanno perso la vita o hanno subito gravi danni per il recente alluvione in Sudafrica. Anche questi nostri fratelli non manchi la nostra solidarietà e il concreto sostegno della comunione internazionale.
There's serious flooding in parts of northern Mozambique hit by Cyclone Kenneth 3 days ago. At least 5 people have been killed by the storm. An area prone to floods and landslides is being pounded with rain. Kenneth came just 6 weeks after Cyclone Idai killed over 600 people. According to the World Food Programme, Kenneth could dump twice as much rain on Mozambique in the coming days. But despite the threat, it's business as usual for Pemba residents.
Good morning. Start the raining. Coming too much, and we're busy to make this business because the people need to eat, need the bread, but I try to sell something to other people here.
Well, coming up on Newsnight Sport, we've got Valtteri Bottas, who claimed the checkered flag at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Jeffrey Stevens is up next with that and more on sports. Stay with Newsnight. Welcome back. It's time now to take a look at your weather's highs and lows ahead of a start of a new week with Louis Fernandez.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Weather Centre. Sunday brought sunshine and calm conditions to much of the country, although it was a partly cloudy afternoon in the northeastern parts, and in the morning some of the escarpment areas also received a few drops of drizzle. We'll once again see moisture reaching the area overnight, so Monday morning starts off with some drizzle and fog along the escarpment, maybe even some fog as well onto the Highveld areas of Mpumalanga. And then in the afternoon, that area will once again be clear to partly cloudy, lots of sunshine over the country, and some cloud will start moving in to the far western parts of South Africa. Then by evening, fog returns to the western coastline, and that will take place ahead of an approaching cold front. Looking at your detailed forecast, we see the sunshine and high temperatures persist in the Northern Cape on Monday afternoon. 34 degrees for Uppington, while Alexander Bay will reach a high of 28. Sweltering conditions for the interior of the Western Cape, Vredendal reaching a high of 38 degrees under partly cloudy skies. And it's also going to be an extremely hot day for the southern interior of the country. The Karoo region sees temperatures into the mid-30s for the afternoon. Sunshine all across the Eastern Cape, where it is going to be a warm to hot afternoon, especially high temperatures for the areas closer to the coastline. KwaZulu-Natal will be mostly sunny and dry. It will be a warm to hot day in the province as well. And then for Mpumalanga, this is where we see morning fog and even some drizzle possible for the mountainous areas in the east. Light rain at first for Thohoyandou and Tzaneen. In the afternoon, Limpopo will be partly cloudy and warm as those temperatures reach the upper 20s. Not too much change for the start of the work week in the northwest, as we expect it to be sunny to partly cloudy. And it's going to be a comfortably warm afternoon in the Free State, but it will be chilly at first for most areas. And finally, for Gauteng, another fantastic autumn day in the province, with Johannesburg reaching a high of 25. Winds are going to be light over the eastern and central interior of South Africa, moderate along the coastline of KwaZulu-Natal, while fresh winds will be likely in the afternoon for parts of the Northern Cape interior. Heading into Tuesday, we'll see a much cooler day for Cape Town with a possibility of light rain. There could be a few showers and thunderstorms developing into parts of the Eastern Cape. And then for Workers' Day, it's going to be dry across South Africa, sunny and warm throughout much of the interior, but partly cloudy and milder along the country's coastline. That's all from the Weather Centre. Goodbye for now.
While recapping on your headlines, the family of photojournalist Shiraz Mohammed received the first video of him since his abduction in Syria more than 2 years ago. Making ends meet is about to get even harder for South Africans, as yet another fuel price increase will eat into their budget.